Teachers, what made you realize your student is a sociopath? Met this kid when he was 2.5 and he was already messed up, super manipulative. He would chase the other kids trying to hit or kick them. He crafted pretty convincing lies to get other kids in trouble, or blame them for things he did. He did it so well that it often was impossible to know it was a lie, other than that you knew it was him, because it was always him. At nap time he would get off the cots and try to body slam all the kids trying to sleep. Eddie Guerrero 5-star frog splash type stuff. If you sat with him he would try to kick you in the face. If you tried to control him, by restraining him, he'd scream that you were hurting him, and my director would come in and threaten to write us up if we touched him again. Nap time was terrible. At 3, he continued the above behaviors but started adding in creepy threats. At age 4, he told my KIO teacher he was going to get a firearm online, and the postman was going to bring it to his house. He would bring it to school and unload it in her head when she wasn't looking. He told another teacher he was going to bring a hammer and make her look like applesauce. He was now big enough to throw chairs across the room, and had discovered gouging people's skin off with his fingernails and biting. He was not allowed to have anything even remotely sharp, ever. We pretty much had to be constantly watching him, despite having 19 other kids with 2 teachers. During all of the above behaviors he would intersperse periods of being very sweet. As a teacher, who wants the best for kids and believes they all deserve love and a place to feel safe, you'd think, finally, he's opening up to me. We can work with this. We can help him. Even selfishly, I'm the teacher who finally got to him. But that was only new teachers, and we all fell for it at least once. Inevitably it turned out he was using it to get away with things, and when you take another kid's side on something where he was clearly in the wrong he'd say, "But I thought you liked me now. I thought you liked me. You hate me, don't you? Nobody loves me," while crying. If you made it clear you didn't buy that, he'd pretty much just scream at you and then turn back into the terror he was. It was just an emotional roller coaster with this kid, honestly. Always holding out hope eventually that little phase of being nice would be the real deal, the time you'd really reached him. By 5 he still wasn't potty trained. One day he showed up with stitches on his face. His grandma said he'd been bitten in the face by their dog, and she was going to have it put down. We all immediately wondered what he'd done to the dog. We had real scissors in the pre-K room, and the licensing says that all art materials had to be available at all times. We had to watch him because he often tried to injure people with scissors. The director wouldn't listen to reason in regards to putting them up because of him. We were just supposed to do a better job controlling the classroom. He also had begun doing weird things. He would drag smaller kids under the slide or under a table where we'd be less likely to see. He would then try force himself onto them. He was doing this at 5 years old. His grandma insisted we were teaching him this behavior, and refused to answer any questions that intimated we thought it was probable that he was being mistreated at home. She'd scream about us accusing his granddaddy, and how could we do something like that, and we were all creeps. I don't even remember all of it. We had all called CPS multiple times about this kid, and had never seen any follow-through. I had been refusing to work in the room with him anymore because I often had bruises and scratch marks and nothing was being done to support us. We were just supposed to redirect him. If we couldn't control him without saying no, or using time out, or restraining him in any way we got in trouble, we were only supposed to redirect, like give him special treats, thereby further encouraging the behavior, and making the other kids feel they had to replicate such behavior if they also wanted special toys, activities, food, whatever. My director was a complete dirtbag. However, when he was about 5.5 we had gotten a new director who immediately decided he was a danger to the other kids, and we couldn't control him with any tools we were authorized to use. She suggested he get some outside help, and perhaps reduce his time with us until his behavior improved. His grandma withdrew him instead, screaming the whole time about how we always hated her and her baby, and now he wasn't going to have anyone to watch him, and he was going to get worse because we abandoned him. He later went on to take his grandma's life a few years later, and got sent to juvie.